Hey everyone, I'm Vic.
I'm Nick.
And we are NV Board Gaming, and today we're looking at Merv. This is a 1 to 4 player game. It's designed by Fabio Lopiano and published by Osprey Games. Nick is going to give an overview of how you play, and then we're going to give our reviews.
Hey everyone, welcome to the table. We're set up here for a 2-player game of Merv. Just going to go through this game. Here we're in the 12th century. We are trading along the Silk Road. And we're going to play this in 3 years, which is tracked down here at the bottom of the board, the bottom left. We're going to have a scoring phase, an invasion, and then scoring phase, invasion, scoring phase, and final scores. So the game is really tracked along this here. You're going to go ahead and move one of these spots on top, one of these spots on the side, again, the bottom, side again, and that is a whole round, and we will advance right here. You're going to do that 3 times. So consider that a tracker. There's various actions you can do in this game when you stop in a spot. So right now this is turn order. So the blue player would go first, the red player. You notice there's a dummy player right here that whoever is first in turn order or going to be first in turn order will control which row/column they will be assigned to, and the other player will assign which building site they will be assigned to. So in this situation, blue player is first. We got, just to give you a little anatomy of the board, we have some favor down here. Whenever favor is referred to, it is down here. Influence is up here. And our victory points are, as usual, around the perimeter of the board. Various actions you can do. On any of these buildings, you can do an action that would be putting one of your soldiers out, which just look like regular meeples. Everyone has these soldiers. They can put them out and it will defend on the invasion phase 1 time. So if you were to do that, there's a little spot form on each of these tiles. You can see it looks like a shield with a meeple on it. That would be your spot for that. Alternatively, you could do the action of increasing your favor. You just move up on this track. There are spots here that will give you victory points every time you hit those. Going forward, not going backwards, because you will lose those at times. And the other action you can choose is going to be the most common, which is actually the bonus action on the actual tile that you select. So the way it works is, if blue player is going to go, they're going to pick which of these to activate. And when they do that, they are now activating any of these going down. So they're doing whatever is across from them. So just know that. And that includes if they're over here, then they're going this way. If they're down here, they're going up. And if they're over here, they're going here. So just know that it is across from them. So they're going to go ahead and go here, and they can select one of those to go ahead and put a building on. So if they wanted to go ahead and do, let's say they do this, they're putting a building here, and they're going to activate this tile. They have the choice, the 3 choices I gave you, so they're going to actually do the choice that is the action listed on the tile. So that action, you look for the symbol, and that is at the left side of the board. And they're going to get this resource. So this teal looking resource, they're going to go ahead and get that. But when they come here, they're going to spend it. Here you can, this is the symbol that I picked, you can go ahead and pick which track to go on. You're going to put one of your markers on it. And this is the good it will cost. So I just got this cube. I'm just go ahead and trade it in. And I'm going to go ahead and advance right there. So I'm going to spend that. And now I have my marker here. I get to keep that camel. Camels have various uses. They can be used for turn order, and they can be used for trading post and getting different cards here, the caravansary. They have various uses. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. And that would be my turn. Now, as the game progresses, so the red player is going to do the same thing. They cannot go to a spot that I'm already on. Then the yellow player will be decided by me. This is only, again, in a 2-player game. So if the red one here, let's say, they're actually going to do the same thing. The only difference is in the middle spots, they'll also get a little bonus listed here. But other than that, they're going to do the same thing. They can go here, put one of their buildings out, activate it. As the board fills up, though, then you all have decisions on which ones to activate. So let's say this whole entire row was filled with different buildings. Let's go ahead and put, just for the sake of doing it, we're going to go ahead and say yellow took that and that. I got blue over here, yellow over here. Now let's say like we're in round 3 and this is how the board looks. When blue goes there, they have a choice. They can activate one of their previous buildings. They would get the same cubes. They would get the teal up here and the orange up here, regardless if they activated a blue, and they would get the action that they picked. If they want to activate this, they can go ahead and do that. They can activate this, but they can also eat. No, not also. They can. They can also do. They can decide. I'm sorry. They can decide to do the yellows action, so they can activate one of their tiles. Well, if they really want to do this action, they could. Yellow would then get that reward. They would get the teal because they activated that building. But they would also get to activate all other yellow buildings. The blue player would. The yellow player only activates what is truly activated, this one. But the player that activated the one yellow, is going to go ahead and get all the yellows. So they'll get all these bonuses, and they will get this action right here. Or, like I said, the other 2 actions. You always have those other 2 options. So we're going to go over some of the actions here. We went over this one right here, the caravansary, and it shows what it does right there. This says if you give equal amounts, or sorry, an equal type of good, so the same color good, you can get how many ever goods you send, you can get that many cards. The ones that have camels on them and the one adjacent to those camels is free. You can go ahead and do that. Anything down the line, you have to spend camels to reach them. So why are you getting these? Well, you could get it for a pair. You can get it for a pair, and you would get the bonus listed right here. In this case, a wild white cube up here. Those are all wild. If you had a pair of cinnamon. This one, for instance, would let you upgrade one of your tiles. You would put one of these on one of these tiles, and then it would be forever. Well, it will be upgraded. So now you can get this bonus white die instead. And so forth. They have different attributes if you get a pair of them. Also, if you look at it, if you have different ones, you're going to get victory points. So for every set that is different, you'll get this amount of victory points at the end of the game. But note that the influence does change the game a little bit, because you can only get one type of good to start the game. Then you have to start hitting triggers that will give you 2 of the different types that will allow you to do that. Here for 3, here for 4, to get all the different types. You cannot do that until you have enough influence to do that. Otherwise, you have to keep getting the same type. Also, there's markers here that reflect these rewards. So you'll see a 1 here, a 2 here, a 3 there. That is for these. This is the prerequisite. You need to be that far in order to do these contracts. And we'll go over those soon. It's a bonus action on your turn. You can go ahead and do that if you have the items to fulfill that. So that's the caravansary. Over here, you're going to do trading routes. So right now they have camels on them, but if you were to do that action, which is labeled right here, you can go ahead and assign, one of your discs on the spot. You can pick any of those 4. Put it on the spot, and that trading post is now open to you. You can now spend, for instance, orange cubes for the orange goods. The basic goods are right here. They're the blue. They have grapes, oranges, and so forth. And then the more advanced goods up here, if you want, you can put camels there to go ahead and act it to be able to reach that. Or the next time you show up at this action, you can go ahead and take one of your adjacent. If you were to do an inner city, you could take an outer city as well and put one of your discs there. But if you didn't want to do that, you can go ahead and that's fine. You can spend the camels to put to be able to reach Kashgar in this instance. You want to be adjacent. You can't do, you can't go to this outer city when you had a post here, unless you spend the camels, like I said. So that is that. So you can get goods here. Here you can get these scrolls, and you spend goods based on how many. That will determine how many scrolls you get. So again, these are not equal goods, and that's what these cubes are. I should call them resources, and these goods. So these are the resources you have to spend right here. Whenever you see those symbols, that's resources. You can spend as many as you would like that are not equal in order to get these bonuses. You can go ahead and spend all 4 and get to pick between bonuses here and here as well, because you just did 4. You can go ahead and do that, and you can look through which one you want to do. For instance, I'm not going to go over all these, but this pile here is for wilds. Now, if I took this, all my oranges are wilds. And I don't have to spend these scrolls. I just go ahead and spend the resources, which gives me these scrolls. And then once I have 4, I can go ahead and do that. I can come back later and try to get the another 4, which would put me at 8. Now get to look at the 6 and the 8. So that's what that does. Here you can go ahead and give you bonuses based on how many of these things you have, so how many cards you might have, how many of those scrolls, and so forth. First time the first player goes there, they're going to go ahead and move up 1 on this track. So if you see that, you're going to go ahead and move 1 on the favored track. That would be the first person that goes there. Also, if you were to do 2 of these, and you can do as many times as you can afford, but it's going to cost you this many goods times how many meeples you have out there. So just keep that in mind. Your first one, yeah, it's only going to cost 1, but the next one you're going to put there is going to cost 2. If I put 1 here and I already have 2 here, that third one's going to cost me 3 oranges over here. So that's just going to give you, at the scoring, it's going to give you a bonus based on how far you've made it on these tracks. Already explained here. And what we also have is the wall. So you can build walls around this because there's an invasion coming and you might want to secure some of these spots so they're not taken from you. These walls come out. All of these straight ones right here are basic. They can go ahead and put those here. If you defend yourself, so let's say I do it over here. If I put it right here, this extends 2 spots. I can defend myself once. That doesn't mean it's truly defended, but I get 1 point, I get 1 influence, not a point, on this track for defending myself. If I were to defend my opponents, I do 2 each. So yeah, it doesn't benefit my building, but if I did it right here, there's a yellow and a red. And if I'm the blue player, that scores me 4 influence. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm open to go ahead and getting 2 different types of goods. So that could be something I go for. The only downside, again, is I'm not protecting any of my buildings when the invasion comes. That could hurt me. It's just a risk reward. You gotta decide what you're gonna do there. But these, again, are not fully defended because they can be attacked from this way. So when the invasion occurs, and then the first round it doesn't occur, you notice. That second round, after that second round, it does occur. When it occurs, it attacks from 2 out. So you can see that here, these 2 are going to get damaged because they're not defended from the south. They're only defended by 1 wall from the east. So someone else can go ahead and put a wall there. You can see that I didn't mention it, but they cost different amount of resources. So up here would be, they're all equal, just different types. So you can spend 1 purple up here as opposed to this cream color. And someone else can do the wall action and says, you know what, I'm going to defend this red one. So now this red one is actually fully defended. And that is also what these guards do right here, these soldiers. They defend a single tile out here. So if I want to defend it, I'm able to. With even that's one of the actions I gave you at the beginning of the game. I can, instead of doing the action printed on the tile, like I said, you know what, I'm going to deploy a soldier to this building to protect it from the invasion. And I'm protecting myself, I move up 1. If I'm protecting others, I move up 2 for each one I'm doing. So that's wall. And so you're going to have these actions out here. You're going to trigger those actions. You might get bonus tiles. You might get, from this one, you're going to, various things can happen. I can move up this track. When I get this far, I can get a bonus cube as on top of the other tile, what it provides me. I can get a soldier. I can get a 3 times modifier here. I can pick which one. So different spots in this are going to trigger different things. And yeah, that's pretty much going to give you a feel of what you're doing in this game. And final scoring, you're going to have it tracked along the board. You're also going to have, in the rounds when you're counting, you're going to count how many buildings, for instance, you have out here. Every building that survives an invasion is going to give you a point. So we're always counting the buildings out here, even before the invasion in the first round. You're still counting how many buildings. So it helps to throw out your buildings as opposed to activating other people's buildings, unless you really need to, you know, because it could be helpful to activate other people's buildings. You're going to score your sets at the very end of the game, the sets I talked about for these cards. And again, we're going to look at this as well. This scores victory points. And most points, as usual, is the winner. Hey, welcome back for the review portion of Merv. this board, it just the cover, it reminds me of Christmas.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think it has to do with, well, the shininess
The
of it.
nativity scene is probably what you're thinking of.
Maybe, and also that font kind of reminds me of Christmas with the green border and just what's going on here with the foliage, I guess. I don't know.
You can see it.
Reminds me of Christmas. The board. So my couple favorite things about this game, the board looks really good. I like how the colors here, it reminds me of Coimbra kind of. Maybe a little busier, but I still really like the colors going on. It pops. It doesn't look bland like for a Euro especially. I think the cards look good. Both sets of cards. The contracts look good. I think the graphic design looks nice. It's clean. Nothing to complain about at all. Even the color choices, the cubes, I think are fine. So the camels, I like those camel meeples, really nice. You don't use them too much, but I wish they were maybe a little more powerful. But you can use them for a few different things. Just they're not, over the top powerful or anything. For as cool as those meeples look, I would like, oh man, I want something cool to happen when I throw a camel at something. But that doesn't happen. So yeah, the art. And the other thing I like a lot about the game is when you go to the action spaces, you can do multiple usually. Maybe you can't really... You can do multiple as far as I can buy multiple goods. I can go ahead and do multiple triggers on the actions at the bottom. The palace, that's what it's called.
Can you buy multiple walls?
I was wondering that. I don't think so.
so.
I don't think you can. But that would be the only spot you couldn't. So I should look if you can do multiple walls. I didn't explain that in the video. I wasn't sure.
I just wondered that right now only because of what I might say during my review about this game. So
if you want, I'll go over that. I'll look at that in the book because everything else, it looks like you can do multiple here. You can do multiple here as far as getting the cards, moving up this track. Everything's multiple except don't know about the walls, so I'm going to check that. Vic, what is your favorite thing about the game?
So I like all the choices. You can never go wrong when you have a game where there's a lot of places to go, opportunities to take a spot, especially the cleverness of the rows and the columns that are out here with this building area in the center where you're trying to build it out. And I think it's interesting to have these like wall pieces, which Nick is looking up if you could do multiple of them, but the little wall pieces to try to defend the buildings that you've placed down. And not only can you score points for your own buildings, but there's also incentive to build a wall in front of other people's buildings because then you get points for that. So I think that's pretty interesting. You get an influence
right.
For that. Incentivizes you to do that. And so I do like the variety of choices in the game and the amount of things and places you can go and some of the thought that went into the mechanisms of it.
Yeah, so the wall was no exception. You can purchase as many in any combination you'd like. The middle one, I didn't explain this in the overview, but the middle one on each side, you'll notice you can't reach it from some angles. So that one actually costs 3 cubes to put out, and that will guard just one wall. Because if you go 3 over, that means you broke the rule. It couldn't reach. The invasion couldn't reach because it was 3 away. So you just need that one wall, and it protects those 2 that are in the middle that it could reach. So that one costs a little extra. But yeah, that was one of my favorite things about the game is just the fact that I can go to one spot and do,
multiple
actions. And the reason why that's the good thing is because, well, it correlates with kind of the bad things. It feels like for as long as this game does kind of take, I mean, it's not a super long game or anything. It feels like I need more actions.
Yeah, that's how I felt. That was what my criticism, like my chief criticism was going to be for it.
Yeah, and it's disappointing because sometimes you like that feeling where, man, I can't do everything, but I got to focus on something. This one didn't work like that for me. It didn't register. Like it felt. Oh, this is gonna sound harsh. This game feels like soulless. It just feels.
Yeah.
Here's some mechanisms.
Boom.
Yeah, and
play it.
Yeah, it didn't work for me very well actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my score, knowing that it didn't really gel. Like none of this really gelled. None of these actions really were enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like they didn't feel clever. Like yeah, it's nice when you can jump on this track. You have all the goods for it. Cool.
You keep
But you're
going,
really just throwing cubes and moving up a track, and then your turn's over.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
And if you get like some mitigating stuff, that's great. Oh, one less cube for this, but then it's a wasted turns to try to accomplish these things, and you try to get direction. But I'll let you. What's your score, Nick?
Maybe that is probably my favorite action, getting those and just getting an ability.
Yeah, that's the one that brings me the most joy.
It's pretty common too to do that. But anyway, it's cool that you can go ahead and spend the 4 and do it. But whatever.
What you got?
6.6. 6.6. Not a great score, but I mean, obviously, I've given a lot worse. It just, it's not that fun to me. Yeah, that's fortunate too, because it looks so nice. I really want to like it. I love Euros. The theme everything looks like I should like it, and it just didn't pan out. Unfortunately, I know this game will be for a lot of people. I just don't know who those people are. I can't recommend it because I don't know who that audience is. But I do see people that would like it if they like Euros that you don't feel like you really accomplish that much.
Yeah. I think that this game, now you could stop me if I'm wrong. Where's the reference card?
Just the back.
Yeah.
It's decent.
Make a card for everybody, like of the action square. Because so often, not that I couldn't remember what you do, but like it just felt like so many things were easily forgotten about. Oh, how do I put this down? We watched videos of how to play a few times. We read the rule book, and we still even right now you
can miss things.
Miss stuff, forget about it, and we didn't really understand the point of moving up on this track down here just to have it reset each time.
Yes, I still don't
understand. So someone
because you're losing those for each meeple you have out there. You lose those at the scoring phase. It's like, wow, what's the point of going up that then?
Yeah.
If you just lose it and you get 1 VP when you hit the second spot, 2 if you hit the 4th.
And the market for me was easily forgotten. This was easily forgotten about. Nick did a couple of them.
Not the market, the contracts?
Yeah, these contracts, not the market. Market's over there. Easily forgotten about, didn't care, didn't
need them. Because this spot here, I don't know let me think, what is this one actually called? It is called
Mosque.
The Mosque.
Yeah.
The Mosque is powerful. Just collect cubes and spend them and win the game.
Yeah.
It's not the most exciting thing, but I won handily when I went there, and then I tried, I'm going to go over here and do this stuff. Vic won handily and did that.
I went to the Mosque because I saw what he did to me last time.
Right.
So my score for this game, a little bit more optimistic than Nick. I gave it a 7.4, which may surprise Nick because I did tell him I didn't like this game, even though we try not to chat too much while we were playing it. I felt like, oh, this game, what the heck? Like, I didn't understand all this stuff that was going in and what was the point. What was, like, the overall, like, mission here of what you were trying to do? I guess get victory points, but...
Trading goods.
Yeah.
On the Silk Road.
Yeah. So, kind of a miss for me. Wouldn't recommend it, but still, I was optimistic about it because it's not that complicated. It looks scary, but it's not a complicated game. It's not... And it goes by, once you get the turns are quick.
Sometimes.
They're pretty quick. I don't think of there were a lot of takesies, backsies, especially with me, of like, oh wait, no, instead, I'm not going to do that. I want to move the building, or can I move where we put the third player's building? So...
You know it's bad when I drop a few what nows. What now?
Yeah.
Because I can hear like, oh wait, like, oh, what now? But yeah, there's some analysis paralysis I felt. I felt it when I was going to these spots and had all these options. It's like, what do I need? What can I activate the most of? Like picking the rows even. I mean, yeah, there's some spots where I felt like there was some analysis paralysis, at least on my end.
And even choosing what buildings to keep, like which one you're going to defend, which ones you're going to spend a cube to.
Yeah, and I didn't mention that, but that was a little rule that if during the invasion you could spend a cube of that resource type on the spot to go ahead and defend it that way.
Yeah.
Just a little added rule. Obviously, I don't explain all the rules.
No,
of every game, but
he's just doing a quick overview to give you an idea of the game, so you can figure out what it's about, and then we give a review, so you know what we think of it.
Yeah, so the average actually would be an even 7 for us, 6.6 and a 7.4, even 7. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's what we gave this game. Let us know in the comments below what you think about it, and if you understand the track at the bottom, moving back and forth, going away.
If you understand why it's like...
Why?
Okay.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Let us know if you know, because we'd love to be told. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos. We'll see you next time.
See ya.